All right, young lady, let's see if we can answer some questions here. I deleted a bunch of emails yesterday, left yours. The cold, man, it is 58 here in the gym right now, which is much better than it was. It was about 45 in the gym when I got here, much warmer outside. I drove through the village that my gym is in, top down today. Once the sun hits you, it doesn't feel that bad, but the sea is right outside that door. I can see it from here, and that cold air is blowing in from the sea, and the mountains are right up there. Cold air is coming down from the Europe, and it's just kind of hitting us right now. It's supposed to start raining here in the next hour and a half. Going to rain all the way through the next 24 to 72 hours. Who knows? 40% chance, which means it could be a flood, and it could be all sunshine. But I've got 3 heaters going in here, a kerosene heater and 2 electric heaters. Can't get it above 60, but it's 60. I'm sweating. This is my second t-shirt of the training session, so I get you. Let's see here, the emails. I've been identifying areas that you feel are weak. Should you add in more accessory work on secondary days? I'm talking with guys that train side, and I've talked to groups of guys that were using anabolics, and if they trained in the morning crew, let's say they trained at 8 o'clock, that means they all went out to eat for breakfast at 6 as a training group, and then they were at the gym at 7:30 together. They discussed training at 6:30 during breakfast. They were at the gym at 7:30. By 8 o'clock, they start. If you weren't there, actually, if you weren't there for breakfast, you weren't there for training. So they would train an hour and a half, and they would come back in the afternoon, whether they finished work or, got the kids home or whatever. They would come back in the afternoon, whatever their weak points were, which were almost always abs, lats, triceps, rear delts, things like that. They did extra work for that pretty much every single day, but they were also using anabolics. Most of them were. For the guys that I know that were natural, probably twice a week, they came in and did that on their off days. More just muscular work, not real hard work. It's just kind of going through the motions, getting that muscle in better shape, just like any athlete would do, just to get in better shape. Do I think you need to be doing that? I think that you can for a couple of weeks. But if you are pushing as hard as I need you to push on training days, and we can switch some things around to do some more muscular work. If you're just looking to be more sore, if that's going to make you feel like you're doing more, then we can do that. If you prefer just to train more days, then we can do that. We can do the core lifts 3 to 4 days a week, and then we can do accessories 3 days a week. Go in and do lats, biceps, hamstrings, abs, low back, or we can plan just to do stuff every single day. The only problem with that is I don't want to see a 7-day training session start turning into 10 to 14 days again. When I program you for a week, it's what I want you to be able to do in 7 days. So if it takes longer than that, then we're off the plan. We've programmed incorrectly. We've recovered incorrectly. I would rather you be hungry for more work than to be burnt out and to be trying to play catch up. So let's get a little dialogue going back and forth there on what you want, and then we'll see what you need and what the difference is between the two. You need hip power. You don't feel strong in your hips. I don't know anybody that feels strong in their hips. The squat with the hips, if you have a weightlifting squat, nobody feels it in their hips. If you have a wide stance powerlifting box squat, you have a hip torque. It's basically a tightness in that hip. You don't actually feel the hips except for the part where you have your feet planted and you're pushing out, trying to rip the floor in half in the middle, and you kind of feel it on the side of your butt cheeks, not really your hips. So I don't think you really need to be feeling hips. You need to be able to flex your glutes, your butt cheeks, and the part right above your hip socket, but I don't think you really need to be able to feel the hips working. In any movement, you're not going to feel something working. You know, if you're, I spent all those years in martial arts, boxing, things like that. When you throw a punch, the punch isn't chest, shoulders, triceps. You know, the punch is always that back leg. The same way with a kick. Any kind of kick is always the power comes from the opposite leg and the torque which the hips provide at the waist. You can't say that it's from a certain muscle group. You get stronger triceps, stronger shoulders, stronger chest. Might have a stronger punch, might not. I've seen lots of guys gain 50 pounds in their bench press. Their punching power didn't go up at all. I've seen lots of guys gain 20 pounds in their bench press. And their punching power did go up. Luck of the draw, if you ask me. Hamstrings, they feel weak. You're not doing enough glute ham raises, band hamstring curls, or stiff-legged deadlifts. Stiff-legged deadlifts, I think, are a hypertrophy, bodybuilding, build muscle type of thing. It's something that you have to start out doing slowly, or you're going to end up getting really, really sore. Doing a lot of stiff legs, jumping right into it, and then deadlifting as well. Good mornings and everything else that I'm asking you to do is a recipe for a hamstring tear. Or low back twinge, pull, something of that nature. So if you want to do some stiff legs, try some light stiff legs. But once again, you're adding more and more and more on top of everything. And at a certain point, you've put so many ingredients into the pot of stew, you don't really know what kind of stew you've got. You just got kind of a big pot of stuff that's not specific towards anything. So if we have some more goals to work on, we can figure out which ingredients to put into our pot of stew. Glute ham raises, you can do glute ham raises every single day. 2 or 3 sets of 6 to 8, whatever is considered work. I don't think those will bother you at all. Quads. All right, I'll send you a video of my sissy squats. You can set those up for quads. Your jump catch phase of the clean. You need explosive power. I want to point this out. You're probably not in need of any kind of power. You can squat. As far as a power ratio, we're not talking about clean. We're talking about clean and jerk here. So whatever you can squat for a triple, and I do mean a weightlifting squat, whatever you can weightlifting squat for a triple, that's front squat. Whatever you can front squat for a triple is what you should be able to clean and jerk. That's quad power. Now, the reason you're having issues with the clean and jerk, it's not quad power, it's technique. I'm guessing that you're a lot like me and most other people who come from strength sport backgrounds, and I still say weightlifting is not a strength sport. I don't care what anybody says, it's a finesse sport. You're having technical issues because you're lifting it with your back, arms, hamstrings, and your butt, traps. And you'll see a proficient weightlifter will lift almost everything kind of just with their legs, with the absolute perfect posture. I know very few people, especially from fighting backgrounds. You look at a boxer, the way a boxer will stand and tuck. This is horrible posture for a weightlifter. Great for a boxer. When I fought, it's head down, one shoulder's up and one shoulder's down. I'm reaching, trying to measure my distance on the guy. But that develops horrible posture for a weightlifter. Powerlifting, you got the squat where you're using all of your muscles in your upper body compared to a weightlifting squat where everything is relaxed. The two are not the same. So once again, we can work on quads, but you having more power on the clean is technique. That's all. I really want you to be able to see that. Drills that you can do. Get me video of your clean and jerk again. We'll see what we can come up with. The Magtastic, keep trying it. If you like it, give me some photos or send some photos to the lady. I'll send some photos as well. Stretching, hips and wrist. I wanted to tell you, as far as all my plates are over there, training with weightlifters at you know, the weightlifting hall here, they always did a thing. I've got a knee sleeve right here. Let's just pretend this is a 5-pound or 10-pound plate. They did this thing where they just set a 10-pound plate on the wrist. That's as far as mine goes. But it would just be if you've ever waited tables before at a restaurant, how you carry the tray. Man, that hurts me right there. But just carrying the tray and letting the plate sit on your hand. They would always walk around just with a 5 kilo, 10-pound plate resting on their hand to kind of stretch the forearm and the wrist a little bit. They'd also put their hand against a wall with the fingertips down and press as well. Most of the best weightlifters I know don't do any of that stuff because the stretching ends up making you more sore than the training does. I am one of those people who are not that flexible, and their advice to me was stop stretching. Don't force any stretch. Move, don't stretch. If that makes sense. Always move, don't stretch. Let me see. You want a heavier or harder workload? Make a grown man cry because you can handle it, because you're ready for it, because you're too much in a comfort zone. I began that with the isometric deadlifts this week. I really want to see how much you put into these. If you are not to the point where you're about to pass out, you haven't put enough into it. So let's see where you go with that. And I think we can look on developing that. I think this could be a big jump in the progress of your deadlift as well as your other lifts. We can continue adding stuff from there. That's the thing that I want to add this week. And we can add more stuff after that. If you just want more strain, that's fine, but I don't want you injured. You've been really good about not getting injured. I want you to be able to push to the point to where you can push really freaking hard all the time without getting injured. Go back to where I had you maxing almost every single day a couple of months ago. When we began the singles emphasis program, you were going heavy all the time nonstop. Did you make any progress? A little. We backed off. We did some more reps, some time stuff. And then guess what happened? The next time you went to go heavy, boom, PRs on the deadlift. A lot of that is mental. A lot of that is physical. So maybe we need something that goes like this. Heavy reps, heavy reps, heavy reps. Boom, jump up and hit a PR. Let me know what you think. You're looking at the day's program and thinking, oh, easy day. I'll fix that. You like the sets with a 30-second and the 6 sets accessory work, especially for triceps. We'll keep that in there and I'll keep moving that around for different exercises, lats, triceps, biceps. We can even do that with quads. Produces a lot of soreness, it's a lot of endurance work, and allows you to pick a weight that you find challenging. You can stop when you want to stop, and you can push when you want to push. And I think it's very easy every single week to break some kind of PR without getting burned out. I think it also builds a lot of muscle, a lot of tendon strength. I think it helps keep the tendons and ligaments safer and healthier. And I think it builds good quality muscle in the process. And it's hard. So anyway, I hope that answers some of the questions for your email. I do want you to know that I read each and every one of your emails. I do design your training program each and every week depending on you and your emails and the responses I get back from you, as well as your videos. These are not standard training programs, especially for you. You're a unique one that requires work every single week. So if there's something that you want, then we'll base it upon that. If you want to go harder, that's fine, but I'm still basing this upon the responses and what I'm seeing in your training. And I don't want you hurt. Coming from a guy who's had a lot of injuries, a lot of sicknesses, I know that the smallest injury could be setting you back for a whole year. And it's much better to make a little bit less progress every single week than to push, get an injury, and then be set back for a whole year before we can start making progress again. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking. I understand how you're thinking. Let's talk, young lady. Hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon.